Alright, guys, gals, and my non binary pals. I'm obsessed with Epic the Musical right now, and I kind of just want to rank the different songs. Without further ado, let's drop into The Horse and the Infant. The Horse and the Infant is a really, really good opening song, I think. It is. We are up in the tiers. It is a good opening song. But there is. Mm, it does sort of suffer from having to set up a lot of things. Setting up, I think, things like Odysseus' tactical abilities, how like his internal debates and things like that. I really, really like Zeus's part. I generally like Zeus in Epic the Musical, in all the snippets, and Thunderbringer, as we're going to talk about later. When I make this, the Thunder Saga has just been released, so might shoot in something about that. No, but The Horse and the Infant is a really great opening song. It sets up a lot of things, but I don't think it gets the S tier just because, again, the setup problem. Like, a lot of these songs is gonna have this where they're like, these songs walk so the rest of the saga can run, kind of. And I really like it, and I like that it's sort of like a plot twist that, well, that the fact that Odysseus has to kill a baby, where it's like, oh, was really special foe, and then suddenly it's an infant, which is I think it's interesting. And yeah, we get to set up the Penelope motif, which will go repeat throughout the saga, but it isn't as big in this one because this is the one that sets it up, right? And that's kind of the problem. So I think the Horse and the Infant gets an A tier for me. It's absolutely a really good song and it's high quality epic. Um, but here we come to Just a Man. Just a Man might be my favorite song in the first saga. It is really, really good. And there's a reason we keep hearing Just a Man and When Does a Comet Become a Meteor throughout the saga. It is really, 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 really good. And I think, even though there's the setup problem, again, like a lot of these lines don't hit as hard as they do later, but a lot of them wouldn't hit that hard later if this was an absolute banger of a song. So this song kind of avoids the setup problem, as I'm gonna call it, and I think this is an unquestionable S tier, when it comes to that. So many of the motifs, like the entire story of Epic, is just like encapsulated in this one song, and yeah, I really really like it. I unfortunately have way too dark a voice to sing this song, but that is it is yeah. I just think it's an absolutely amazing song, and I really no notes. I like the like I like the metaphors, especially where it's like or not the metaphors but like the imagery of when does a candle become a blaze is like particularly one. Like I enjoy that sort of visual imagery in songs. I should probably mention that I'm a lyrical person when it comes to songs. So Just a Man is, I think, unquestionably S tier. It's yeah, it I think I've said most of it. The entire like the entirety of Epic really is built on this song. It wouldn't work without it. So yeah, Just a Man, S tier. Now we come to Full Speed Ahead. Full Speed Ahead. Okay, I will remind everyone that this is a tier list. Like, we're supposed to use the whole Scala here. This isn't Full Speed Ahead as a song. This is Full Speed Ahead as an epic song. Full Speed Ahead suffers from the setup problem the most, I think, of any song. This is what I would like. This is the first of what I like to call like a travel montage song, really. Like, you need to encapsulate like so like the traveling and getting to new places. You have to show that somehow, otherwise it would feel like the last seasons of Game of Thrones where you just jump around willy-nilly. So I like that part, and it also has to set up Eurylochus, polities. It has to set up the crew dynamic, and yeah, it has to set up so many different things while also being a travel montage song, which I think are the weakest songs in Epic. We'll get to that with, for example, Storm later as well. So yes, I I I still love this song. Like there are no bad songs in Epic. I will fight for this. There are no bad songs in Epic, but Full Speed Ahead, not my jam. It is. I think it is. Again, this song walks so the rest of the sagas can run. This so like the underworld can just say full speed ahead to imply traveling because of this song, but this song suffers for it. I'm actually sure if you guys can see my mouse, but I'm showing with the mouse. Yeah. So that's like it is really important, but it just doesn't work as a song for me, and it doesn't like I don't like I like Eurylochus much more than later than this. I like Polites much better in Open Arms. It's just like introducing these characters, and yeah, it serves an important function, but yeah, no, it's not for me. It's not for me. Uh, Open Arms, Open Arms, Open Arms. Yes, let's move to Open Arms. I'm unsure where to rate Open Arms because I've been very back and forth. Open Arms has been here and it's been up here. It's never been S tier for me. I've always had my problems with it, but I think Open Arms slots into D tier just because it's not my favorite type of music in Epic. It's very like light. It's like chill, and I enjoy when Epic is like hype. I enjoy when it's epic. And Open Arms isn't really that. I say that when Just a Man is like a really calm song and up top. I don't know. Open Arms doesn't have the doesn't hit as hard. So yeah, Open Arms is I think it's a chill song. It's really nice. It's really soothing, but it mostly exists to like again setup. We're like the setup problem is something we've touched on several times now, and we've like Open Arms exists to set up well yeah set up the well most of like Odysseus conflict really with alongside Warrior of the Mind, which we'll touch on later. Then Open Arms sets up the Open Arms mentality. I think it's what Jorge calls it, or Jay, or whatever we don't want to call him. Well, and the Polity's view of the world really, and whether Odysseus will follow that or not. But however, it is given less time and less focus throughout than the ruthlessness mindset, the warrior of the mind mindset, which we will see later. And so I don't think Open Arms as a motif hits as hard when it comes back in the underworld, say. I think it's like it's weaker, it has less impact, and it's not exactly my type of music. So yeah. And I also think Polites as a character, like if you follow the TikToks and the stories behind stuff, things like that, you understand that it's Polites dying later here, but I I don't know. It's I when I heard the Cyclops saga for the first time, I didn't understand that was Polites. I thought it might have been Eurylochus, and I thought it might just have been a random crew member. I did not think it. I did not even think about it being Polites because I had kind of forgotten about Polites, and I think that's kind of speaks to the song not having the greatest impact. Now, Warrior of the Mind. Warrior of the Mind is a really good song. I really like Warrior of the Mind. Um, I I think Warrior of the Mind is a really good introduction for Athena, and the Warrior of the Mind mindset. It introduces both of those things really, really well. Warrior of the Mind again has a bit of the setup problem where it has to set up both those things. So without Warrior of the Mind, My Goodbye doesn't work. But Warrior of the Mind exists to make My Goodbye the really, really great song that it is. But Warrior of the Mind is still really, really great. I like the dynamic. With Odysseus and Athena. I really enjoy how they talk to each other. Yeah, I really enjoy how they work together and how. But yeah, and I love Athena's voice. Love her lyrics. And I think some animatics might have drawn this one up for me as well, with having I know there's a couple of animatics that have Athena's head moving like owlishly throughout this song, and I just love that. So I probably shouldn't give that to the song, but I'm not sure if I'm biased by that or not. So I'm gonna give it to it anyway because eh, that's what it is. What it is. But yeah, Warrior of the Mind, absolutely great song, and I really like the flashback. Athena's themes are set up here really well, like her musical themes, and yeah, if they weren't used efficiently here, they wouldn't work as well later. Is basically what I'm saying. Um, yeah. So no notes really. I think it's an A tier. Hmm. Am I happy with this tier list? Like, this saga is top tier and bottom tier for me. Is that is kind of the thing. Other sagas will be like more skewed here, but I think this one is like top and bottom. I think I could move Open Arms to C. Like Open Arms, I think Open Arms earns a C. There are other songs that will be D later, and I think yeah, yeah. No, I'm so unsure actually. I'm really unsure about this. I'm gonna leave it in C tier and think about it between videos and just like think about what exactly it is I want to do it. Let's see. Is there anything else? So, Warrior of the Mind, an argument for S tier, but I think just like because My Goodbye exists, Warrior of the Mind can't be S tier because what My Goodbye I shouldn't talk about future sagas, but like this is a setup song and show and like we have to use the Scala and base graduated or like compared to the other Athena song, this one can't be S tier. I think that's kind of figured. Horse and the Infant could be S tier. It could be S tier, but I think it's an A. It's a really solid song. That's kind of what I'm thinking. It's like it it's not amazing but at anything, but it's really solid overall. And I think if we had I think if this was two songs, like it's called The Horse and the Infant because it's like it's divided down the middle. I think that's the problem. If The Horse was a song and The Infant was a song, I think both could be S tier if they were obviously made well. But I think that's my problem with it. I think that's what puts it down into A. Yeah. So yeah. I don't think I have any more thoughts. So thanks for watching, and hopefully you'll see my review of the rest of the saga.